We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com.
All right, Andrew on Facebook. Andrew picked up a pair of Paradigm ADP 190 surround speakers. They are a, quote, hybrid design with a dipole tweeter, with dipole tweeters, but bipole woofers. All right, so out-of-phase tweeters, in-phase woofers. Is that what I'm reading that as?
That's absolutely it.
All right. His mounts put them about 3 feet above seated ear level. Should he put them directly at 90 degrees to his sides, or should they be a little bit behind him? My guess would be directly to the sides of you, since you're trying to be in that null for the tweeters, assuming that's what you're shooting for.
Yeah, that is where these speakers are meant to go.
Yeah.
They are meant to go straight out 90 degrees to your left and right so that you are in the null of those dipole tweeters, and you get this very diffuse, like a full-size movie theater where you're far away from a huge array of speakers. That's what they're mimicking. That's the design. That's where they're supposed to go. So that's pretty much it.
All right. He tried using surround back speakers, but he didn't hear a lot of activity in those back channels, which happens, depending on what you're watching, especially. So he figures he'd rather use them as Atmos speakers for a 5.1.2 configuration. Alrighty. He already has wires in his ceiling that would work for the top middle positions, but he could do front heights if that'd be better. Which should he install, front heights or top middles? What is more significant in a 5.1.2 setup?
Yeah, so this is a little bit of, there's not a wrong or a strictly right answer here. This is a little bit of what would you prefer. Because by and large, there tends to be more activity, more sounds put into the overhead in front of you area. That's a choice by the mixers who are making a lot of the soundtracks, but by and large, the overhead Atmos effects, they tend to be putting more sounds that are in front of you.
That's front heights.
So the argument for top fronts or front heights, there's an argument that can be made for that. However, the top middle positions are actually where Dolby suggests putting your speakers if you only have two overhead speakers. Okay. Because anything that is overhead, anything that is in those overhead channels, if you only have two speakers, ends up getting played by the only two speakers that you have. So it's not like those sounds just go missing and vanish because you don't have them.
In that situation, does front height information, sound meant for front height, does it get blended between front and your top middles? Or
yeah, it gets played by those top middles because it doesn't get played by your ear level speakers.
Okay, so it doesn't at all get played by your front speakers. I see. All right, so it's all going up there. It comes
from overhead. So if you really like the sensation of, hey, I really noticed that something came from above me, then top middles are the way to go.
Well, okay, so if you've got two speakers up there, you're getting all of the top middle and all of the front heights in them, no matter where you put them.
Yeah, I mean, if you only have two speakers above you, you're getting all the sounds that are mixed into any of the above you area.
Okay.
Right? It might have been mixed to be above you and behind you, above you and in front of you, or directly overhead. Doesn't matter. When you only have two speakers, whatever those two overhead speakers are, they're getting all of that sound.
Okay, so why not split the difference and sort of mount them in between where top, middle, and front heights would be, if all those height information's going up there anyway?
Well, because he already ran the wire.
Well,
in his case, he already has the wires installed.
So he ran wires to both front heights and top middles.
No, he ran in ceiling wire to what works out to the top middle position.
Okay.
And then for front heights, he's like, well, he could just put wire up the wall because he could have them on the front wall just up high.
I see.
Right.
Okay, so
yeah,
use the heights you have and just send everything up there.
Yeah,
I mean, what you're leaning toward?
What it comes down to is, what would you prefer? Would you prefer the sense that all sounds that are meant to be anywhere above you are coming from the front wall of your room? Or would you enjoy going, hey, those are really right above me? Because, I mean, that's a personal preference thing. There's no right or wrong there.
Right.
What I would say is you're going to notice the top middles more. They're going to be more noticeable because you're going to go, that came from directly above me, and there's never been a speaker there before.
Right. Yeah, especially if you have normal house 8-foot ceilings, right?
Yeah.
So if you had really tall ceilings and put them even higher, I suppose you'd hear those front heights more.
But some people go, I don't like to be that aware of a directional speaker directly above me. I would rather have it coming from the front wall and above. So there's no wrong answer. You decide what you. I mean, you could try it.
You could try it. I mean, worst case, you just have a few screw holes where you mounted something up there next to your speaker wires.
And put some ladders up there and do it temporary.
Just get two friends to hold them up. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you do it temporary. But if you know for a fact, you're like, hey, I know myself and I know I want to notice that a sound came from above me, then do your top middles if that's the person you are. And vice versa. If you're like, I know I don't want that kind of, I would find that distracting. I don't want to do that. Then don't do it. Do front.
I feel like the difference is the kind of person that likes to add a few decibels to the surround speakers in a normal 5.1.
There's that. Yep.
Like if you like to really notice all the speakers in the room, you might want those top middles.
Exactly.
That's what I would think.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.